Hello everyone, my name is Lacey. Welcome to my YouTube. Today I wanted to come on here and talk about self-care and self-love. I don't know why I put three fingers up, but you know what? It's fine. Okay, self-care, self-love. That's what we're going to talk about. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I'm in this time of the month where I am being forced, not really forced, but me and my therapist have come together and decided like 5 to 7 days of the month. I wish it was 4 or 5, but you know what? Can't control certain things. I'm not supposed to stream. I'm not supposed to work on my um, actual work stuff. I'm not supposed to do any of that stuff. I'm not supposed to be catering to other people's needs. Blah 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 blah. Um, and you know what's funny? 99.9% of the time, when I'm not on this time of the month, when my mind's not wandering as much and I'm in control of the ship, it is easy to show myself self-love and self-care. And I feel like I wanted to talk about it because because I have this like 80% of the time when I truly feel that way, and 20% of the time when my mind really doesn't like the ideal of it, I feel like I can sympathize or empathize or both probably. People, I don't know if I use the right words there, but people who maybe have a problem with like showing themselves self-care and self-love and kind of showing it as like I truly am the happiest I've ever been in my like life at this point in time, even in this moment of being hormonal, if that makes sense. Like my hormonal time feeling like this right now is better than it was last month, better than it was a year ago, but that doesn't mean that it is actually not it's very hard for me to do this, to take time off in the way that I am. I don't think YouTube videos count as the that way because it is putting me out of my comfort zone in the way of I'm letting go of what other people think about me, and it's not this instant gratification thing. So I feel comfortable like posting on there or making videos or that kind of stuff, just because it's not in the same you know um but I kind of wanted to mention it because I feel like I do very much understand how hard it can be during that time. So I am someone who truly loves to get massages, take care of myself, do certain routines every day that I know are very good for myself. But during the time that like my hormones act up, it's very hard for me to do any of those things. That doesn't mean I don't do them. Like the other day, I did not want to go to the it's funny, like it's silly to think I didn't want to do fun things for myself. I didn't want to go to the zoo. I was literally like the other day I go to the zoo, my mind is the whole way there. It is looking for every excuse to not do something fun, and I'm already on the metro on my way there, and my mind is obsessive thoughts over and over again, negative thoughts, blah blah blah, trying to get me to not go. I went to the zoo. I went to go watch a movie. I blah blah blah. I like did things in the real world, and I actually did feel better by the end of the day. But my mind did not like it. So I 100% understand that it's not always easy to show yourself self-love, self-compassion, and do active self-care. But I am a big is a proponent a I do believe in it. I do believe that the things are worth it, and I do know that taking a shower, taking care of myself, doing my lotion routine, meditating, like going to get a massage, going on a walk, hanging out with my animals, cleaning up my surroundings. I know that all of those things make me feel better. And I do also know that on the time of the month, I don't want to do it. If that makes sense? And I have to force myself to do them anyways. And trust me, I am like rolling my eyes doing it. I'm annoyed, irritated. Like even today, I'm pretty sure like I took a shower, and beforehand I was not wanting to do it. And those go really hard with my like OCD. It makes it a little bit harder for me to do that. Even on my like really really happy good days, sometimes my mind will come up with excuses on why not to take a shower. I don't know why OCD does that. It's just a little guy. We don't need to figure it out. Um, But I want to come in on here and talk about it because I feel like people who talk about like happiness, wellness, loving yourself, they don't really mention like, and you'll hear me talk about this in other videos. I'm all about like trying to rip off the band-aid of perfectionism. I'm diagnosed with it. I have it. I am a big example of someone who has lived with it for a very long time, and it's not always what people think it is. But I want to rip that off and show people that like this living this happy positive life, like there is a negative thought, like there is negative thoughts in my head at the exact same time that I'm decided to do the things I want to do. And trust me, I am not perfect by any means of doing the thing. I sometimes really do not want to. I am pouting. I'm throwing a fit in the corner somewhere, you know. But and the funny part is I'm laughing at myself because I know the thing is good for me. Like I know that like taking a shower every day is good for me because of my OCD and the type I do have. Actually doing it every day is a very good like thing for my well-being. But my mind will come up with excuses. It will make it seem like it is the hardest thing in the world and so on. And it does that with like other things as well. But I feel like that's just like a good, simple thing to mention to make it understandable for people who maybe don't do all the self care items that I do on a normal basis. But I wanted to mention it because I feel like people don't talk about it that much. They don't talk about how hard it is to actually do it and to be, like to look at someone and say like I understand how difficult it is for you to take care of yourself sometimes. How difficult it is for you to get yourself to walk on that treadmill or to start the computer and, you know, do a new adventure that you're doing because I still think that that's a little bit of self-care, putting yourself out of your comfort zone and doing things that you know bring you joy, you know? Like those things are hard sometimes. Some of the things that you love so much to do, painting, drawing, singing, dancing, hanging out with your animals, watching movies that you love, doing this, that, and another, doing, you know, going on walks, going on adventures, you know, maybe like playing video games. Sometimes your mind like pushes those things away, even though it knows if you do those things, like you're probably going to feel 100 times better. Because it doesn't always want you to feel better. And that's the part that like doesn't always grasp in your mind. Like I'm not saying your mind, but like my mind too is that like sometimes your mind doesn't want you to feel better because there's so much going on in there and sometimes it gets comfortable with like this like baseline feeling and it doesn't want to step out of its comfort zone. It doesn't want to do things that might make it feel uncomfortable because, you know, like let's say, you know, we've all probably been there where you didn't want to work, so you relaxed. And then when you're relaxing, your brain only thinks about working. You're like, why is that logical? Why does that make sense? And it's not that it's logical or it's not that it makes sense. It's that it's just wants to kind of pick on you. It kind of sometimes wants to do that. And I've known that not everyone has these issues. You know, some mental illnesses or disorders make it like a little bit more prominent than others, prominent for them than others. But I do think that like all humans at some point or another can understand what it's like to like want to try a new thing or want to take care of yourself and your mind like tries to get ahead of you or step on your own toes. And I think that like all of us can relate to that in some way or another, even if it's not something that's like so drastic or makes you avoid your life or makes you like get distracted or not do the things you want to do. I think we can all relate to that on some level. And this week I've had to do a lot more of that because my like therapist wants me to like take more time for myself, and it actually is harder than it seems to like force yourself for like 5 to 7 days each month to like step back from everything that you're used to and like just do self-care, which is funny because like the 99.9% of the wait, the other part of the month, I'm like 99.9% happy. I love doing self-care. I think it's so important. Buddy, what are you doing? I see the value in it. I actually actively do it. But that time of the month when I'm like, my mind is racing, my mind is doing its thing, it makes it so much more difficult for me to do it which is like just funny because normally it's not something I struggle with, because I'm genuinely like a very happy person. Like I genuinely mean it when I say that. And I felt like just coming on here and talking about like how it is normal to not, okay, it is normal to not understand always, or not feel the urge, or not want to do self-care, self-love. And you shouldn't feel bad or mad at yourself for doing it. It is something that you have to train yourself to do. So I do think that like doing small little things here and there to make it like something that is more comfortable for you. Like it took me years to get to where I'm at with therapy to be able to take off this time, like from streaming and working in that way. I at one point would have not been able to do this, years ago. The versions of me in the past would not have been in a place that this would have felt safe. So I don't think that that is something that, like, everyone can do right away. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe, like, I can't decide that for yourself. You have to decide what level of self-care is important to you. But I do think that, like, if people talked about it in a way where it wasn't so scary and it wasn't so distant from like how you're feeling on an everyday basis, it would be different. Like it would feel more like reachable or reasonable to you. Because when I do hear people talk about how they hate happy people or hate positive people or blah blah blah, it's usually they will even say like they just don't understand how they feel that way. Like I've heard them in the same sentence say that they don't. Buddy, buddy, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. Yeah, they'll say like they don't understand how like happy, positive people feel that way, and it frustrates them or irritates them. And I think that that's where a lot of things come, like where there's a lot of clashing, is where people just like don't understand where the other people are coming from, because people don't explain it. I don't think it always needs to be explained, but I do think if we took the time to explain to people our struggles and our like, what are you doing? How it's hard for us to sometimes do it too, it would come off differently. It would not make it seem like I'm all the way up here and you need to change your life, because I don't feel that way. Sometimes I am looking around me and I am like a hot mess sometimes. I love myself and I know that I am a different version of myself today than I ever was, and I am truly the happiest I've ever been. And I know that I'm on the right path, but not every day do I feel that way, and not every moment do I. It is a choice every moment for me to decide to want to feel this way, to be happy, to be positive. And there are things out of your control, like hormones or mental disorders or things, medical conditions. Buddy. That sometimes affect how you're feeling or whatnot. It doesn't mean that you can't take control or that you can't feel happy, but you might have to go about it a different way. You might have to show yourself more self-compassion, and and you might have to just look at yourself in a different light, or understand what you're even wanting or how you want to feel, because I think that some of it comes too from like not even knowing what self-love or self-care looks like for yourself, and realizing that it can be different for every single person. Like some people, self-care, self-love could be going to the gym, or some could be going on walks outside, or just sitting outside, or hanging out with your friends or family, or checking on your friends or family, or doing art, or hanging out with your little crazy animals, or cleaning up your surroundings, or cleaning up your house, or doing those kind of things, or stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something you never done before when you wanted to do it. We're all at different like levels of what we're wanting or where we want to be and what we're looking for. And I think that people don't talk about that enough. We kind of make it seem like it's something you need to do, it's something you need to do, but we never talk about how sometimes it can be freaking hard. Like, it can be hard to choose yourself, and it is okay to choose yourself. Sometimes you kind of need to be selfish, quote unquote, to take care of others. Like, I feel so much better about loving like the people around me or taking care of others or doing things for others when I care about myself first. I actually have like room in my cup to I have stuff in my cup to give others when I fill my cup up myself. And I think that people don't talk about what that actually means. And they make it seem like you have to do it, you have to want to do it, you have to be happy, you have to do this. But don't ever talk about how it can be hard sometimes, and how it can be something that is difficult to do. But that doesn't mean it's not beautiful, you know? It doesn't mean that it's not good. And I don't know why I'm getting a little bit emotional. I think it's just like, it's something, it's clicking in my mind too, is like, it is something that's good. It does make me feel better, even on those days when I don't want to do it. Even on those days, like, and that doesn't mean that every day I show myself as much self-care, self-love as I would want. But I mean, when I choose to even do little things, or I choose to be kind to myself when I decide to do something different than what I already wanted to do, that is already enough, you know? Sometimes self-love and self-care isn't what people think. Sometimes it's actually like not doing anything, laying there like a potato, but then your mind's racing and you choose to decide, I want to relax, so I'm going to relax. And that's even self-love and self-care sometimes, depending on who you are. I know that's a big one for me, is letting go of what other people think and deciding that because I want to relax, I'm going to relax. Because my mind will go dun 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 and try to get me to do a million things. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that and kind of open it up to if anyone has any questions or comments or anything of the sorts of different self-love or self-care tips and tricks that I have learned over the years, or things that I've realized don't work for me or work for me. And yeah, I just kind of want to remind you guys that whatever level of whatever you're feeling, whatever vibration or emotion you're at, you are doing more than enough just the way you are. And if you're watching this video and you made it to the end, I want to give you a round of applause, because it can be unsettling. It can be uncomfortable to like shed light on showing yourself love, you know? Even right now, me talking about this is it's not uncomfortable for me, but it is kind of bearing my soul and, you know, sharing a part of me that's like vulnerable in a way. So to me, this is self-love in a way of letting go what other people think, realizing that I don't have to be what others perceive at, I don't have to be what I think others perceive as perfect, because perfect doesn't exist, and we are great just the way we are. We are the freaking bee's knees, you know? We don't need to change, but if you want to change and you want to live your life a different way, that's totally great. But you're great just the way you are, and you're doing more than enough just the way you are, in case someone hasn't told you that today. But you're amazing. I appreciate you guys for watching my videos. Make sure to subscribe, watch my other videos, like the video, comment, do all that. Bye!